Hey YouTube, it's Chris with the Martial Alchemy channel, and we are on a new manual now. We are beginning Sparring, or the Theory and Practice of the Art of Self-Defense, from 1864 by L. Hillebrand. Let's get into it. All right, as always, we like to cover some of the historical context behind the manual. The year is 1864. The U.S. is in the middle of the Civil War. In September, William Tecumseh Sherman is going to capture Atlanta, making a huge change as far as the course of the U.S. Civil War. And in November, Abraham Lincoln is re-elected as our president. In the UK, we are in the Victorian age, which is actually really exciting. This is kind of the time period that got me excited about old school boxing, and we have a lot of material to cover in this age, so it's actually really exciting that we're finally here. But what's going on in the Victorian age that's so interesting? We have the Industrial Revolution to begin with. We have a huge change in social reforms, education, labor rights, which are all adding to this interesting complexity of rural culture versus urban culture, a blending of the two. A lot of really interesting things are going on, a lot of really interesting literature and science and whatnot of the age, and this all is seen in the stuff that we'll be watching in this manual as far as the science of boxing. All right, so we haven't done this in our previous videos, but I want to cover sort of how this era is going to shape what we see in this manual and manuals to come going forward, because this era is actually known for some very specific things. The first is Victorian era is about, I would say, three main things: self-improvement, discipline, and manly pursuits. That's what we're going to see a lot of in the next couple of manuals. So manuals on such things like boxing, wrestling, and even rowing include these core ideas that through training, through disciplined repetition of a thing, through study and through practice, we're not only learning physical things, physical culture becomes important, but we're also becoming more in tune with our masculinity, and we're developing ourselves from the inside out. To how we present ourselves in the world becomes a really important thing, even as far as, you know, how the clothes you wear and the hat that you wear and the colors that you wear all represent things in an outward facing world. The manuals of this age also show a really interesting mindset change. In the previous couple of videos we've covered, we've kind of bounced all over the place as far as what the material covers. We might do kicks, we might do blocks, we might move around, we might do this or that. We're going to start seeing manuals, and this is going to be huge for all of us following along, learning these types of things, that it's very structured. This is going to be a crucial thing that we're going to see throughout Victorian literature and manuals, that it's very clear-cut. We're going to go, this lesson leads to this lesson, leads to this lesson, leads to this lesson. It's going to be an easy to follow sort of methodology for learning the art. So this is going to be a common thing that we'll see. And what I encourage you all to do, obviously following along with these videos, and I see everybody liking and viewing these things, is to follow along and kind of play along with us. So as we do a lesson, I want you to try and train these things on your own, and put in comments below about how you're coming along with your training. I really want to see if we can get people to actually start incorporating this type of stuff if you are training in martial arts. If not, follow along. I've already got some people say, yeah, I've been following your videos, I try it out on my own. This is a perfect opportunity to do that, to join us on this path that we're going to go, because this manual is going to be very clear cut. And do this lesson, do this next one, do this next one, and you're going to see your martial arts skill go up as you're training in these things. I want to know how that's going for you, so make sure you're leaving comments below. In just a little bit, we're going to go through the glossary of this manual, which lays out the key terms that we're going to be covering going forward. Hi, this is Chris Dyer with the Martial Alchemy channel, and if you're enjoying this content, we have some great news. We now have a video for sale. The link is in the description below. It is titled The Old School Boxing Method of Self-Defense, and it's a compilation of our favorite techniques from our popular series, Old School Boxing. A link is in the description below. Now back to the content. Okay, so in this part of the video, we're going to cover the glossary. I kind of wish we had this when we first started these videos, but here we go. I'm going to cover what the book actually says, the terminology that I typically use in these videos, so that we're pretty consistent throughout, so that as you guys are following along at home, we're not confused as far as what we're talking about. If you've been following along with all the other videos, fantastic, you'll know most of these. All right, so let's get at it. Barring is the first one. So from just a normal guard stance, I'll have a left foot forward, right foot back in this case. Barring is anytime a person is striking in, I cover that area. So what we would typically call blocking would be to not cover that area. So as a strike is coming in, I stop it from hitting me. That would be like a middle block. As a punch is coming in, I bring this arm up, it'd be a high block, right? Blocking to the outside, barring that area. So that's the first term that we use. Bottom is something that you're going to hear a lot of. We've already heard this term in the other videos. This is your endurance, your ability to continue without showing exhaustion or being winded. The next one is the chopper. Again, if you've been following along with our videos, this is going to be familiar to you. The chopper is a backhanded strike rolling in a downwards fashion by elevating the elbow first and then rolling into this position. So you've seen these in a couple videos before where we block or bring the arm across like this. Elbow comes up and we roll through and smash down. One of Daniel Mendoza's favorite strikes. We've seen it in a lot of different things. Very, very useful. I have students that love this technique. The counter. So the counter is as a strike is coming in. Timing is really important for this. If a strike is coming in, so down the center line, before it gets to me, I strike. Before it gets to me, I strike. However we do this, if I move offline, I don't get hit, and I strike them in the same tempo, in the same time frame, that is a counter. The next one is dodging. So very easy to understand. A punch is coming in, I either move my head back, you duck it, slip it to the outside, slip it to the left, or slip it to the right. We're dodging this strike. Feints. If I throw a strike out there with the intention of drawing a person's guard or making them think that I'm moving one way, you can feint with your arm. You can throw a strike out there as a feint. You can feint with your body, kind of like jerk forward, make a person think that you're about to move, and then exploit that. All of these fall under feints. The next one is mobility. So this one is just your ability to move around, moving from left, move right. You have your passing footsteps. I actually want to cover some of these. So ones that we typically will use in these videos is just what I call a step drag. Obviously a step forward, and I drag the foot forward, a step drag back. Passing step is any time where we take one foot and we step in front of the other one and then step back out. Passing step behind. I can pass to the left. I can pass to the right. I actually had a student the other day. Isn't that bad? Everybody says that passing your feet is bad. It's actually really interesting. You'll see a lot of this in these types of manuals, especially early on fencing manuals that got translated into like boxing manuals, or what I call the fencing method of boxing. At a distance, if a person can't reach me, what I do with my footwork doesn't necessarily matter. So if I need to cover a greater distance in a time that a person isn't expecting. So for example, I'll back up a little bit. If I'm plodding along forward like this, an opponent is going to have a really easy time judging when I'm in range. If I change that up, maybe I plod forward and then I pass step, or I gather step and I change it up on them, it's going to be harder for a person to be able to read that, harder for a person to be able to judge where you are in space, and I would argue makes it more difficult for a person to hit you. So passing steps do have their value. It's just a matter of do them wisely, not in the wrong position. If you're right on top of a person, you're not going to step forward. You're in a weak position to do that strike. But if you need to cover a lot of distance backwards, a passing step makes a lot of sense. We don't hang out there, so it's not going to be a pass like this, and then I'm going to come back in. We saw this in our last video set, defending against a kick. 1, 2. That'd be a pass step, right? I pass back, and then I come back forward again. If I need to go quickly to one side, boom, and I just changed line. It's a pass step. Definitely has its value. The next one is parrying. So parrying is what a lot of people think of as blocking. Basically what we're doing is tapping a person's hand out the way. So as a strike is coming in, if it's coming in a straight line, I just nudge it and it's now going off at another angle. We'll typically do this with body movement. So as a strike comes in, I parry to the inside, parry to the outside, parry high. And it's just simply nudging their hand out of the way. It's not a solid like hard style block that you'll see in like a karate style or something like this. It's more of a just kind of make contact to it, slip it out the way. The next one is positions of guard. So positions of guard is actually a really interesting thing. I would love to do an entire, lecture series on guards, but to keep it simple for today, your guard sets up the probability, and this goes into the science of boxing, the probability of a person's movement. Your guard sets up the probability of what a person's going to do. So, for example, if I take my guard and I bring it straight down center line, so we've seen this in a lot of our previous manuals. If I go right down the center line, there is no way. We've done this drill before in my sparring classes and whatnot. You can't strike down the center line. I know nothing about Wing Chun, but apparently Wing Chun people are fond of this particular guard to the center. You're forced to go around. You're forced to go off at an angle. You can't hit me in this position straight down the center line. My midsection is covered. My face is covered. I've had people experiment with this, try to punch through this. As long as your arms, and I'll turn sideways so you see, as long as my arms aren't like this, at less than a 90-degree bend, where you can hit yourself in the face. If they're out greater past a 90, you make impact through here, I can just lock my arm. You can't hit there. So I'm forcing you to the outside to do this, to do an attack. Likewise, if I take my hands like this, looks very passive. Hey, 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 I don't want to fight. What are you doing? You're forced to go straight down the center line. I know exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to block this direction, forcing the person down the center line. So these are the positions of the guard. A great example, hands up. All right, so hands are up, right? I know exactly where I'm going to block. I'm not going to block anywhere else. I'm going to go down with this motion. If my hands happen to be in my pockets, my guard is down here, I know I'm going to bring my hand up. It just makes sense. So these are positions of guard. Returning blow. All right, so this is sometimes called a riposte in some of our previous videos. Again, going back to the fencing method of boxing, this would be a riposte. So a strike comes in, I block it, or I parry it, or I move, or I slip, or whatever it is. As that punch is coming back, that's when you're going to hit. So chasing the punch back. Punch comes in, I return. So this is the returning blow. All right, so there are two more terms that we're going to be seeing in this manual. A set two is simply a contest. So as we go through this, if the manual says set two, whatever, you're taking your techniques and you're using them against the other person. This could be like a match or whatever it happens to be. All right, the last one is sparring. And to quote from the manual, the correct definition of boxing is striking with the fists, and the correct definition of sparring is the practice of the art of boxing. So those are the glossary of terms that we're going to be using for this manual. And like I said, this is a great kind of jumping on point if you've got other friends that are interested in following along. This is going to be a great manual because it's going to be very clear. This lesson, this lesson, this lesson. It's going to be easy to follow. We're going to have lots of really cool techniques going from basics all the way up to advanced practice and even dealing with wrestling. I hope you guys liked the video. Be sure to click the buttons, like, subscribe, share, all that fun stuff. Leave a comment below. Let me know if you're interested in hopping on and following along with these. If we get enough people that are interested in following along with us, we'll do special videos. I'll do some training videos and whatnot that you guys can jump in and kind of train along with us. Anyway, we'll see you guys next time. Take care.